There's something about a solar-powered dive watch that I find cool. A dive watch by nature is rugged. A solar watch is obviously very practical, charged by light, very easy to use, and good for day-to-day. Combining those two things really does make a lot of sense to me. Today we're going to take a look at a Citizen. It is the Promaster Dive Eco Drive. I sort of bought it on a whim on Amazon, and I'm going to actually oil fill this watch. Now I'm not going to do that in this video. That video will be coming later this month. However, during this video you will see photos and close-up shots of this watch, and it is oil filled. So I have done it and it is working, and I'm really excited to bring you more information on how to do that. But first, let's flip the camera and take a look at my latest purchase, which is a Citizen Promaster Dive Eco Drive. So I actually purchased this watch on sort of a whim. I saw it on Amazon for a very good price. It was around $200. I thought it looked really good because it has a green and black bezel. It's a black dial. It's an Eco Drive. It is of course a Promaster, and here it is. You can see it comes in, Promaster packaging, which is of course pretty nice, especially when you compare what you would get from Seiko at this price. You would just get a little flimsy box. This is actually a substantial little bit of packaging that you're getting. I know it doesn't really matter all that much, but it is a $200 watch. And here it is. This is Eco Drive. So it's powered by light, any light. It's basically a solar watch. It gets 200 meters of water resistance. It gets a 60 click bezel on here, I believe. It has a rubber strap, and the rubber strap is sort of a dive strap. You can see here it's perforated. You get a buckle on here, which I believe is just a pressed buckle. And all in all, a really good looking watch for the price. For around $200 to $250, you can get this on a bracelet. You can get this in different colors as well. They make ones with PVD coated cases. All of the Eco Drive versions are very reliable and can take a real beating. And they aren't very thick for a 200 meter dive watch. That's because it's a solar powered watch, which really isn't a bad thing. Now, this has a green bezel insert that is metal, so that will scratch over time and patina, as well as the bezel, which I believe is ion plated, so that will wear away over time as well. So this will age and look sort of patinaed over time if you like that sort of thing. And if you don't, obviously they're not incredibly expensive, so they are easily replaceable, and also these parts are replaceable as well if you are concerned about that sort of thing. This does get a mineral crystal, so again, that will scratch if you are hard on your watch. It does not come with a sapphire crystal. If you want a sapphire crystal, you have to upgrade to the automatic. The automatics now have a sapphire crystal. Of course, the crown is on the left side of the watch and not on the right side of the 4 o'clock, so it's a little bit different. It also gets a different, little bit of a different crown. It gets a little bit of a different case. It's a little bit thicker as well. This is not very thick at all. So let's do measurements. You have a screwed in crown and screwed in case back, 10.6 millimeters thick. Really not that bad. Crown on this, they have small crowns, so they don't put huge crowns on their watches. So it's 5.9 millimeters at that crown. The lug to lug, pretty good on this watch. It's always been very good on the Promaster. 50 millimeters for a 40, I think it's a 44 millimeter watch, or 43 millimeter, or just about 43.5 millimeter watch. Really not that bad when considered. Now, this is a very comfortable watch to wear because it is thin, and it actually fits on my 7.5-inch wrist pretty well. It does not wear very large. It actually wears smaller than that 43 millimeters or 43.5. I would say it wears more like a 42 millimeter watch. You also get pretty good lume on these watches. Not incredible, but very good. They're usually liberally applied with lume. You have embossed indices on here, and those are filled with lume, and of course the hands are filled with lume as well. And you have a little pip. It's actually a pretty large pip at the 12 o'clock that gives you sort of orientation in the dark. Everything else is standard here, nothing else is loomed. Very quickly, I'm going to throw it on my wrist, and then we will do a lume shot, but I also want to talk about what my plans are for this watch, so stay tuned for that. Today I have on the Citizen Promaster Dive Automatic in Super Titanium. This is the Citizen Challenge Promaster Diver, so it is in all titanium with an extra hard coating. You even get an extra hard coating on the buckle on here, and I really think the buckle on here is great because you do get micro adjust. Well, technically a dive extension that you could use as micro adjust. So this was actually lent to me by Citizen and does have to go back. See, the crowns are kind of similar on here. Pretty small crown on here, but this is a smaller watch also. So there you go. So here is the Promaster Eco Drive on my 7.5 inch wrist, and I love the colorway of this watch. I think it's a very good looking watch. Really nicely made. Let's listen to the bezel. Bezel action actually is pretty good on here. I think it's 60 click and is pretty grippy. So let's listen to that. So it is 60 click and it does feel good. It sounds good. It's not insanely good, but it is very, very good. And of course, everything lines up. Even on a $200 watch, everything lines up. That chapter ring, the 12 o'clock index, and of course, the bezel. Very important. Quality control. Seiko, are you listening here? This is a $200 watch, I think brand new. This is around 300 and change. And that is insane that they can get it right, but you guys can't get it right on a $1,000, $1,200 watch. Anyway, I digress. And there you go. Pretty awesome watch for the price. Now, the plans that I have for this watch. Now, some people are gonna sit back in their seats in horror, but I'm gonna oil fill this watch. Now, I've done this with other watches in the past. I've done it with Casios. I've never done it with a more expensive watch. And for the chance that I'm taking that I can actually ruin this watch, it is a pretty big chance, but I'm going to do it. I want to oil fill this case, and I want it so that there is no bubble. Now, I have no idea if I'm gonna be able to do that, but I'm going to try, and I think it will look pretty amazing. So in other words, I want to put oil in the case so it fills the entire dial, the case back, everything, the movement, and have the Eco Drive still work. I have no idea if that will work afterwards. I'm pretty sure it will, because light will still be able to travel to the dial. That's really all that has to happen. And then you get that clarity from that. So when you get oil in the dial, in the case itself, sitting on the sapphire crystal, it sort of projects the dial directly onto that sapphire crystal, and it looks really, really almost like it's printed onto the sapphire crystal. I've been talking about this through other videos that I have done. I've done it before with other watches, as I mentioned. It looks amazing, but I don't want to put the bubbles in here. I usually leave bubbles. This time, I do not want to leave any bubbles. Number one. Number two, it also sort of compensates for temperature changes in the watch. It actually helps with that. That's the other benefit. And then there's the third benefit of water resistance. It actually raises the water resistance of the watch. I did videos about this also. There were Casios that went down very deep, well past 9,000 meters, and they were oil filled. And that's the reason why they were able to actually go down that far. And they came back, I think it was around 9,000 or something insane, 5,000 meters, something like that. And they came back perfectly fine. And these were like $10, $15 Casios. And that's not the first time I've seen it. Oil-filled watches are kind of popular. They are a thing, and Zinn do it and a few other brands. And the reason why they do it is because of the incredible diveability that you get from that. You get 5,000, 12,000 meters from watches that are dive watches, designed as dive watches that are filled with oil. Anyway, very quickly, I'm gonna do a lume shot, and then we'll wrap up the video. So lume is really good on this watch. It's not incredible. It's not as bright as LumiBrite, but it's almost as bright as LumiBrite. This is a lot cheaper. You know, I think the only thing that this watch is lacking is probably a sapphire crystal, but even then, I mean, you really cannot complain. For $200 or around $250, depending on the version that you get, you're getting a lot of watch for your money. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. If you like this watch, there are links down to Amazon in the description below. I'll put a link to this watch on Amazon. Definitely check it out. It will be an affiliate link, so if you click that, it doesn't cost you anything extra. However, it helps support the channel. Anyway, guys, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.